I never believed in ghosts or the supernatural until I checked into that hotel room. I was on a business trip, and it was the only room available. The clerk at the front desk warned me about the room's sordid history, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just a ploy to charge more for a special room. Just as I brushed off the noticeable change in the air as I entered the room, thinking that I'd just let the clerk get to my head, that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But it grew stronger as the night went on. The room seemed to irradiate hatred and agony. As I settled into my room, I noticed that things were not quite right. The furniture seemed to move on its own, and I could hear strange noises coming from the walls. I tried to shake it off, thinking it was just an old building, settling. But the feeling of dread only grew stronger. As night fell, I settled into bed, trying to put the strange occurrences out of my mind. But as I closed my eyes, I heard a voice whispering my name. I sat up, my heart racing, but the room was silent. I tried to leave the room, but the door wouldn't budge. It was like the room was toying with me, keeping me trapped in its vice-like grasp. The longer I stayed in the room, the more it seemed to try and break my mind and spirit. I knew then that I had made a grave mistake, that I had checked into a hotel room that wanted nothing more than to destroy me. But it was too late to turn back now. The room had me, and it wasn't going to let me go without a fight. The longer I stayed in the room, the more the room's spirit seemed to take hold of me. I tried to keep my wits about me, but it was like the room was slowly breaking my mind. One small piece at a time. Furniture would fly at me in random intervals. The sounds emanating from the walls grew louder and louder, until finally I could hear what they were saying. The sounds of each previous occupant's last stay echoed through the room. Overlapping sounds of desperation, fear, and then the screams as they finally succumbed to their fates. The never-ending cycle as a new victim would start up as the last one neared their end. I tried everything I could think of to escape the room's grasp. I pounded at the door, screaming for help until my voice was hoarse. I searched for a phone or a window, any way to show others that I was here and needing help. I could hear nothing but dial tone. The windows refused to budge. There was no way out. In a desperate attempt to warn others of the room's dangers, I took out a pen and began to write on the walls. "Beware of this room," I scrawled in big, bold letters. "It's evil, don't come in here." But as I wrote, I felt a strange sensation come over me. It was like the room was trying to stop me, to keep me from warning others of its nature. The pen grew heavier in my hand, and the words on the walls began to blur and twist. When my vision cleared, I could see the words. "There's no way out. Join us," where my message previously was. I could feel the room's presence all around me, pressing in on me from all sides. I knew that I was in real danger, that the room was toying with me, and it was winning. As the night wore on, the room's presence grew stronger, and my resolve began to falter. I could feel myself slipping, my mind slowly being broken by the room's power. I tried to remind myself that this wasn't real, that it was just a hotel room. But the more I struggled, the more the room seemed to fight back, determined to break me completely. As I sat there, trapped and alone, I knew that the only way out was to fight back with everything I had. But could I summon the strength and courage to stand up to whatever was in here with me? Or was I doomed to be trapped in its grasp forever? I grabbed a lamp and started smashing everything in sight. The mirrors, the walls, the TV, the windows. But nothing worked. Nothing broke. I even tried to break the shower rod to use that. But nothing worked, except for when the room wanted it to. As soon as I gave up trying to attack the room, everything exploded in, centered where I stood in the room, covering my body in glass and splintered wood. Finally, I simply slid to my knees, tears and blood flowing freely down my skin. Laughter emitting from the walls around me, urging me to just take the glass and end it all, telling me that I knew exactly how to end my suffering. I wanted to just stop hearing that awful voice that seemed to be talking directly into my ear. I couldn't let it win. Even as it tormented me, my drive to not lose was stronger. I put my hands over my ears, my face firmly in my knees. My cuts and scrapes from the attacks singing with pain that radiated through my entire body, reminding me firmly that I was still alive, that I would live through this all. Maybe the voices got bored, but it soon stopped. Even the sounds of its victims softened until finally I couldn't hear them either. As I uncurled, I saw the sunrise through the windows, basking the seemingly untouched room in its warm glow. The only evidence of the night before was my tattered skin and ruined clothes. The door to the room slowly opened, beckoning out to the halls. I stumbled out the door, down to the deserted front room. The usual staff one would expect was nowhere to be seen. The silence dampening any joy I had at being free. Deep in my soul, I knew everything was off, though I wasn't sure why just yet. I was so on edge, I was surprised when the hotel's front door actually opened for me. Stumbling out, I collapsed onto the deserted sidewalk. The street in front of me was completely deserted as well. Even though it was early in the morning, it was a main street of the city. As the biting wind hit my open wounds, I realized there were no words. Where one would expect a shop's name, an ad, and even a street name, all the words were gone. I craned my head to look up along the side of the hotel, finding no windows except the rooms. They were open, with the curtain fluttering in the breeze as if to wave hello. I knew it had been too good to be true. I had never actually left that room. The room had been toying with me, creating the illusion that I had escaped. I was still trapped within its grasps. I smiled, though. It had showed me a weakness. It seemed it couldn't create people or writing. It couldn't kill me itself. what else couldn't it do? I tried to stand up, to run away from the hotel, my wounds making it hard, but not impossible to move. Hobbling down the street, my movements slowed even further as the air thickened around me, until finally I pushed through and found myself back in the room. Not a scratch on me. My suitcase opened in front of me, as if I had just arrived and was getting ready for bed. The cycle had restarted. This time, though, I was better prepared. I could learn and prepare. I could survive. I would not let this God-forsaken room win. I was so hopeful in those early days, so courageous and strong, so willing to fight. I'm not sure how many cycles it's been since then. The rules keep changing, or maybe they don't, and I'm the one who's changed. I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes I get home. Sometimes I even get to spend time with my family, watching them grow. But I always come back, and so I remain within that room, my mind and spirit broken by the room's power. No one knows I'm still here, trapped in that endless cycle of fear and torment. The malevolent laughter in my dreams, reminding me that there is no way out. But it's wrong. I will win, and I will be free. But until that day comes, I remain a prisoner, trapped within laughter's grip.